Om Shri Ganeshaya Namaha. Namaste to all my ICAS friends and family and all people uh, who are here today. I would my gratitude to our Gurudev, Shri Shukla ji, and all the gurus who have been with me through this journey of in ICAS, through this journey of astrology. I'm so grateful to all of them, also to Rangachari ji and Vishwanath ji for all the technical support and all the support given to us for this presentation to happen. I would like to express my gratitude via this shloka from Bhajagovindam, which is very dear to me. Satsangatve nisangatvam nisangatve nirmohatvam nirmohatve nishchalatatvam nishchalatatve jivanamuktihe. Being in the company of our gurus, saints, they're also our gurus are also rishis and saints. It gives rise to non-attachment. Means we start contemplating in solitude, which brings non-attachment, like which brings vairagya, and then which leads us to the knowledge, the wisdom of the truth, awareness of the reality, and knowledge actually gives you freedom. So which again leads to and that freedom actually frees your mind from all the clusters, and a free mind can really lead you to the Jivan Mukti while you are still alive. Thank you all so much. Now, my topic today is water elements and relationships. The way I see it, and I would like to put it very simply, and I hope everybody will also connect with me. Okay. The very identity of human existence is relationships. The need to love and to be loved, communicate, express on different levels. From the time we are born till we are gone. We form relationships with animate and inanimate things all through our lives. And we keep revolving around them. We are bound by them, sometimes consciously, sometimes unconsciously. It's like an intoxication, which really gives you a high sometimes, but it may not give you pleasure always. But in the absence of it, it gives you pain. Very rarely do we find people in search of spiritual and cosmic relationships which can actually bring them to that state of everlasting bliss, that is Ananda, which the soul is looking for. Now, I would like to connect the cosmic energies which are in the form of the solar system to the medium and reason of our existence on the earth. A study of the system reveals secrets of our connection to these energies and our journey in life. Planets and elements have a coordination and a sequence of existence which definitely extends towards human beings. Remembering that Earth is our center point, which is our Lagna. Now, how did we come into the celestial canvas? Let's take a look. The Jiva, which is formless, but it is there in the subtle form, encounters the universe, which is the Akasha space. It meets the first planet, Jupiter, which is the Akasha Tattva. The next requirement and destination is, of course, Vayu, that is planet Saturn. And for sure, energy is induced into the Jiva by Agni, that is planet Mars. The next essential Tattva of water, that is Jala Tattva, is given by planet Venus. And the Jala Tattva, the Prithvi Tattva, the Jiva gets from planet Mercury. That is just a rough picture of the solar system, how the planets, the placement of planets given. Then after a successful travel of observing these 5 elements, the tattvas, finally the Jiva reaches the sun, the king of the solar system, and he being the Atmakaraka, the sun brings down the soul to the earth. Sun represents the power of God, the all-powerful, magnificent. All planets revolve around the sun. If sun represents father, earth is the mother, which has the moon revolving around it, which is closest to the earth and influences it largely. Planet Venus, which is the second brightest planet close to the sun, is the one which facilitates the transfer of semen through father to mother, and being Jala Tattva Graha, gives us a constitution of 75% water content in our body. The rest 25% is the Prithvi Tattva, that is planet Mercury and others. Now these 2 planets are closest to Earth and are called the inside planets. Interestingly, the source of water element is the moon. And it is a known fact that moon is mind, emotions. Both Venus and Mercury, being Rajasic planets, ignite the life in human beings and the drama of life begins. So now we got to know how relationships and the elements are, water elements are connected. This is the solar yogas from the Brihadarashara Hora Shastra with respect to the Agni Tattva and the Jala Tattva effects. Very simple yoga, the basic yoga, where it says when we have other planets, 2nd or 12th to sun, other than moon or Rahu Ketu, certain yogas are formed. We get the Vesi yoga, Bosi yoga, Ubhayachari yoga, all these yogas are formed. So we'll just have a look at these simple yogas and study. So this presentation is an observation of the solar yogas in relationship of Sun and Venus. For the overall predictions, the other applicable parameters has to be considered in a holistic manner. Example charts of Sun-Venus connection, its results in a simple manner as Agni Tattva and Jala Tattva elements are given here. Similarly, fiery planet Ketu and watery planet Venus, its combination gives us amazing results, which we will see here. Now, let's, everybody likes stories, isn't it? We'll come to know, we just see the story of Venus, birth of Venus. There may be a little variations here and there, but this is the basic story. It is said that Rakshasa Hiranyakashipa, Hiranyakashipa's daughter Usha was married to Bhrigu Maharishi, and they had a son named Ushama, who was a great tapasvi. As he grew up, he observed that Kubera, the wealth custodian, was accumulating all the worldly wealth and turned arrogant and selfish. With his Tapo Shakti, Ushama could bring all Kubera's wealth under his control. Frustrated and fearful, Kubera prayed to Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva gave him the assurance that he will protect him and punish Ushama. Ushama was an intelligent, brave, and a great tapasvi. Through his Tapo Shakti, he entered Shiva's stomach and started praying from there. He told Shiva that he was not interested in any of Kubera's wealth, but this only to teach him a lesson. Ushama had become a part of Shiva's body, so Shiva had to expel him through his valorous semen. Ushama, who came out thus, was called Shukra, the semen. Lord Shiva blessed him and made him the ruler of wealth, arts, beauty, love, and made him the guru of the Asuras. This was the brief story of the birth of Venus, right? So it is said, the Shukra Bhagavan, after sun and moon, Venus is the planet which can be seen in this vast universe. He shines with more brightness and is huge among the stars. Now, Veda Sankhya Shastra, it tells us about how the planets are numbered. Let's have a look at it. Okay. So, Sun, the king of planets, is given number 1. Now, Sri Rama is from the Surya Vansha, so that is the Rama Shakti. Moon, the queen in the royal cabinet, is given number 2. Lord Krishna belonged to the Chandra Vansha, so number 2 is the Krishna Shakti. Jupiter, the Devaguru, is the Trident Shakti of Rama, Krishna, equivalent to Shiva. So Rudra Shakti is the ruler of past, present and future, also called Kala, that is Rudra, given the number 3. Rahu is formed with the combination of Sun and Rudra Shakti, 1 of Sun and 3 of Rudra. So Rahu gets a number 4. Mercury is energy of Jupiter and Moon put together. So we have Jupiter with number 3, Moon with number 2. So Mercury gets the number 5. Venus has the Mrita Sanjeevani Vidya bestowed by Rudra himself. So that doubles his number of Rudra. Venus gets number 6. Ketu, the Mokshakaraka planet, is given the number 7. That is energy of Sun and Venus. Sun is 1, Venus is 6. It also shows that we need to surrender to the Paramatma by Jivatma in divine love. Now, Saturn, the Karaka of karma and longevity, is blessed by Venus energy, that is the Mrita Sanjeevani energy. So Saturn gets number 8. Mars has number 9, 3 times the Rudra Shakti, the energy of the commander-in-chief. You find these references in the Krishna Yajurveda text, which is mainly prevalent in the southern part. In the Shukla Yajurveda pertains to mostly North Indian belt. Okay. Now let's learn a little more about Shukra, the planet, Venus. Anything that is beautiful, which you get attracted to, which you get immersed, hypnotized, it's like an addiction. That is the lower form of Venus. Venus is a hunter. It attracts and kills. It's a smell of the perfume. In attraction, you follow and fall for either the person or any object or any experience. A lower form of Venus is considered to be too selfish, self-indulgent. Also, the weak Venus, a strong Venus gives you fulfillment, but badly placed, it makes you buy the wrong vehicles, costly things which are not needed. Drugs, blind love, which gives high, that which peaks and then breaks. That is the lower form of Venus. We have another higher form of Venus. Here, it teaches the higher form of love, emotion, which is unconditional bond, deeper love. See, when love becomes deep, it becomes devotion. What Meera had for Krishna, that is the deeper side of Venus. Positive Venus is energy, frequency, respect, to grow, to elevate in love. Being in love in the absence of the person is true love. Like it's not a drug, If somebody is there, as long as he's there, you like him, and once the person is out of sight, he becomes out of mind. It's not like that. So Venus, as positive, is peace. It has no conflicts, fairness, and Venus is about a perfect balance. A good Venus is about a perfect balance. Now, if you see in the chart, the Vrishabha, the Taurus connects Moon and Venus in the second house of the Kalapurusha, which is owned by Venus, where we know Moon exalts in full splendor. Seventh house is the Mula Trikona, and exaltation of Venus is Pisces. Now, why seventh house, seventh Lord Venus? As we all know, seventh house from Lagna is a Dwara. It is a gateway, isn't it? It is a gateway of our expressions, of our views, of we express ourselves through our dressings. So it is the primary Jala Tattva that rules emotions. Venus being the primary Jala Tattva. And it rules one Paksha in the Panchanga. That is 15 days, which makes it exactly 180 degrees. Like from Aries to Libra is 180 degrees, the seventh house. Now, Sun and Venus become crucial for conception. Venus is the semen, Sun is the Atmakaraka, that is our soul. Pisces in 12th house is the house of unconditional love, bhakti, the bhakti of Radha, Meera. It's also about Sufism. When you feel joy in giving, it's a joy in union. And actually, it's the most toughest thing, unmatched, unconditional love, which leads you to spirituality and eventually leads you to moksha. One point to be noted is Mrita Sanjeevani is a vidya, it's a knowledge gifted to Venus. It is not a mantra. This is the Shanti mantra of Sun. I would not like to chant it. Let me go to the next slide. Now we are going to talk about Sun, the Agni Tattva, because I told you we are going to relate these two. Okay, the Sun, the Agni Tattva, Venus, the Jala Tattva. Sun burns out water, that is Venus, but Sun, Venus have unique relationship. As we know, Sun is a universal Sarvatma, it is a consciousness, the big consciousness, whereas Venus is the I, it is the individual. Administration on a larger level is ruled by Sun. Management is usually small groups, small sections. That is ruled by Venus. Sun is spirituality, Venus is bhoga. It's all about worldly pleasure. Now let's look for Sun with sunburns when they are in the range of the orbs. When Venus is behind the Sun, it's strong. That is when it is 12 from the Sun. The Jala Tattva becomes stronger. When Venus is behind Sun, when Venus is behind Sun, it gives success in relationships. But when Venus is ahead of Sun, it gets burnt. It becomes a weak Jala Tattva. So Venus doesn't blossom into relationships. Sun is the upholder of Dharma. So we also see that Venus and Sun together can lead to spirituality. When together, they abide by the norms of the society. Also, it is said that in ancient times, when Venus was just ahead of the Sun in the chart, they would attack the enemy. Why? Because Venus becomes Krura when it is combust and weak. Before proceeding to the charts, I would just have a few words with you all. Like, firstly, why did I choose this topic of relationships? Putting it shortly, the pandemic from the last 2 years has changed relationships in a drastic way, isn't it? The equation of relationships have changed. Being social was our identity. That's been taken away from us. So what happened? The close proximity of our family members, 24/7 being with them, that has created more problems. It has created most of the houses, intolerance, unacceptance. And then we started longing for people who are away from us. On a large scale, if you look at it, there has been so much of domestic violence. Senior citizens were the ones who felt really lonely. Children were affected very badly. So looking at all this, I was wondering how the planetary wars, the planetary combinations, how they affect our humanity in such a huge manner. The other reason was we learn, we study, we apply so many different great yogas like Mahabhagya Yoga, Dhana Yoga, yoga for fame, yoga for money. These yogas are mostly applied in really great personalities, even if it's about spirituality. They apply in those charts, or maybe the lesser ones whom we don't know, also it applies to them. But what is it which is common in all the charts, irrespective of the Desha Kala Patra? So then I realized relationships. It has the same impact, whatever background you are, financially, status wise, age, nothing matters. So that interested me, and I thought of taking up all about relationships. Now we'll see a few examples. And actually, this has been an emotional journey for me. Going through the charts, like I also took up charts of Sri Rajendra Prasad ji, Rabindranath Tagore ji, of whom I have heard when I was very, very small. I mean, they were such idol for us, They were into the freedom struggle when we were in school. Then later on, as we grew up with watching movies, which was the only source of entertainment in those days, like Raj Kapoor, Devanand. That was one phase. Then we later on, when we were a little bit matured, we came up like people like Rajesh Khanna, Salman Khan, then some politicians like Jayalalitha. So, but when human relationship is considered, I mean, it applies in all charts. That was really interesting. So let's look at some charts now, okay? As I said, when Venus is placed second to Sun, it does not give success in lasting relationships. Two examples I have taken. One is of Salman Khan, the most eligible bachelor of the tinsel town, very famous, a big celebrity. Of course, he had many relationships. All of us know that. See, some are facts, some are just rumors. One side says that his partners took advantage of his position to climb the ladder of success and then dropped him. The other side of the story is he was a like he took advantage of the newcomers. Whatever said and done, there was never a permanent relationship, a legalized relationship. He never had. Until now also he's unmarried. And the next case, you take the case of Jayalalitha ji, the most popular chief minister of Tamil Nadu. She was Amma for the whole state, for so many thousands of people, but she remained single. Here also we see Venus next to Sun. Similar way, see, when you're into the limelight, there are so many things happening. You come into proximity with so many people. There are more chances of getting intimate. But ultimately, she never had a legalized marriage in her life. Let's go to the next chart. Rahul Gandhi and Karan Johar. I'm sure we all relate to them, well-known personalities. Now, youth political leader Rahul Gandhi, he cannot consider to be successful in his dealings. See, it's not only about partners, dealings with everybody, you know, about understanding, about the power of attraction, authority, dynamism. All this comes in this. Although he had the biggest advantage of belonging to the oldest political party of the pre-independence India, but still he was not successful in his relationship. Like even now, until now, he's single. Here again, we see Venus is second to Sun. If you take the case of Karan Johar, we all know he makes nice candy flops, larger than life popular films, and they are mostly about human relationships. All his films mostly um, talk about human relationships, but he remains unattached and has an unconventional choice of partners with no definite bonding, no lasting relationships, either from inside the film industry or outside the film fraternity. So these examples seemed very interesting to me. Now here we come when Venus is placed 12 from Sun, means behind Sun. It becomes very supportive. Take the case of Dr. Rajendra Prasad. He was married at the age of 12 to Rajvanshi Devi. And you know, that was the struggle era, freedom struggle era. Most of our leaders were in and out of prisons, busy with their meetings. So during the freedom struggle, he was in and out of jail several times. But she always supported him. And she died just 4 months before he died. So there was total support to him in marriage. Similarly, when you take this case is totally different. Raj Kapoor, he was the greatest showman and the most respected family man of the Hindi cinema. All his attachments to his heroines, he launched many new heroines. That is very well known. They were all like small, timely flings, you know. And it is not that they didn't have difference of opinions, husband, wife. We have even read stories where his wife would take away the children and go and stay in a hotel for a few days, 15, 20 days. Then he would go and convince her and bring her back. But she was ever supportive of him. That marriage stood till the last. They were married and they were together till the last. Now, Amitabh Bachchan, when Venus, Sun together, till now we saw Sun in 12, Sun in 2nd. Now we have Sun, Venus together. The topmost Indian actor, an icon, known all over the world. He maintains the value of the constitution of marriage. Here we see Sun, Venus together. It upholds the principles of the institution of marriage and dignity. As I said, there are differences. He's a celebrity, he's a film hero. They have proximity of so many females. So there are chances of getting distracted. And even the other partner, it is also said that she's like very finicky, very angry sort of person, you know. But somehow both of them have tried to maintain a balance in spite of their whatever they had, this thing in them, you know, lack of qualities in them. They are together a very strong, they are called the power couple of the Hindi film industry. Then we have the case of Dr. Rabindranath Tagore. He married Mrinalini in 1883. You know, she was only 29 years when she passed away. They had a very caring and tender relationships. He lived a long life, but he never remarried. I have read stories that after she passed away, he went totally into seva, like taking care of the Shantiniketan ashram, doing all good deeds for women there. All those he took up all those activities. Now, when we talk of Venus and partnership, definitely we need to talk about the 7th house, isn't it? So, a small note on 7th house. Marriage is a social custom which was originally established by Lord Shiva. The first Prajapatya Vivaha was of Shiva with Parvati in the presence of Atri Muni, who was Moon's father. Here, Shiva read out the Saptapadi, that is the 7 shlokas, which became the basis of all marriages. Marriages were for life, and the couple who actually recited them properly and obeyed and followed them were married for life. Now, what happened in Kali Yuga? To the utter frustration of the superintelligence of Lord Shiva, instead of understanding these 7 shlokas, people in Kali Yuga, they got more engrossed in all those rituals of, In some parts of the country, they make the bride roll a stone. They put a heavy stone at her feet and they just watch how far she can push it. Then they decide if she can push it 7 feet away, she will be able to walk the marriage of the path. I mean, it's hilarious also. But then that as time changed, people started giving it different meanings. Parikrama around Agni 7 times. Actually, it was supposed to be only 3 times. Bhur, Bhuva, Swaha. Which was another ritual, but it was not connected to Saptapadi. But somehow, as days went by, these two things got mixed up in marriages. Now we look at things relating Venus Sun to the tattvas in the Rashis, especially the Rashis ruled by Venus and Sun. Okay, what happens in a Janma Kundali? The 7th house signifies marriage, partners, contracts, romance. Actually, it is also said that it is a payback house where past life enemies become your partners, they become your spouse. So here we are looking into combination of one Agni Tattva and another Jala Tattva planet placed in the 7th house of a chart. In Brihat Parashara Hora Shastra of volume 2, all 18 shlokas of chapter 76 relates to the effect of these 5 elements on human beings. And 22 shlokas of chapter 77 describes the effect of gunas. We know the 3 gunas, isn't it? Rajas, Tamas, Sattva. The effect of the gunas of planets on human beings and relationships. We will study the unique combination of planets of Agni and Jala Tattva in the 7th house and the interaction of their inherited gunas. What are the results? These I've just put the shloka here. You can check up in chapter 77. I just put one shloka. So all the 77 shlokas talk about the different effects. Similarly, effects of fire elements, earth, air, water, fire and ether. This is in chapter 76. Here they say no planet loses its energy and quality, although called combust. The planet that holds the lowest degree gives a bigger meaning in life. Suppose Venus is 12 degrees and Sun is 15 degrees. What happens? Venus is going through the Sun. It's not that it is losing power or it's combust. You see, we know Mercury and Venus are always around Sun. But Venus is getting burnt here. So it is said that it is good to wait because with time, every planet calms down. So the Sun's maliciousness comes down. Let us observe Sun Venus in Libra in 7th house. The combination of Sun and Venus in Libra. Here, Venus has more influence in relationships, especially if Venus is lower in degrees. We all know, in Libra, Sun is debilitated. So, no major ego issues will be there. Now, Venus, Rajasic planet in own house, in the company of Sattvic planet of Sun. So, there is a balance. Here, both the partners share a loving and caring, everlasting bond, more committed to each other's happiness. Now, when you talk about Sun Venus in Virgo in 7th house, Venus is debilitated here, and if it is close to Sun, the relationship gets agitated. It's on a shaky ground. They become, critical mutually. And we know this house is owned by Mercury, which is again a Rajasic planet. So here, when Venus and Sun are there, logic rules rather than love, care, and emotions. This Rashi being a Prithvi Tattva, it predominantly makes the more stubborn in attitude. I've taken 2 examples. One is of Mr. Devanand. He is a genius, all-rounder film personality. He remained married till the last, although both of them led separate lives. Here we can see Sun, Venus in Virgo, 7th from Moon. So it is said that they never divorced till the last, but they stayed in the same house, one on the first floor, one on the ground floor. They had difference of opinions. Both of them did their own thing. He followed his path, she followed her path. But legally, they remained together. Now, this is another chart, somebody known to me. You can see here Sun, Venus in Libra. Other issues were there, a lot of other issues, but the marriage was stable. They managed to handle things and be together. Now, what happens when Sun, Venus is in Sagittarius in the 7th house? Here we observe Sagittarius is a fiery house. It is one of the Dharma Trikona, 9th house of the Kalapurusha, which is owned by Guru Jupiter, which is sattvic in nature. Again, Sun is also sattvic planet. It's very comfortable here. And Venus, the Rajasic planet, bows down to both of them, both the sattvic gunas. It gives name, fame, fortunes, but it makes the native egoistic and self-centered. But they remain in marriage. One reason being to boost the self-ego. Like what will people think? That I have failed in marriage? At least to keep that ego up, they remained in marriage. Of course, benefic PAC could reduce the malefic effects to some extent. Now we talk about Sun, Venus in Pisces. If Pisces is the 7th house, it's a water element house. Venus exalts there in all its energy. Sun exhibits its sattvic quality and supports the strong Rajasic Venus. This could lead the couple on the path of heightened blossoming of the native's creative qualities. See, because Venus is exalted and Sun is also very strong there. So, there are possibilities that the person will really come up with very good artistic qualities. But sometimes it could lead to they becoming indifferent to each other, and ultimately lead them to vairagya and towards spirituality. I have seen many charts like this. I have known some couples who are, as individuals, if you take them both, they are such lovely people. But together, when they come as a couple, problems create. And it's not that they are even cordial to each other, but somehow the compatibility is not there. And we know many people who live together, but still they walk their own path. And of course, we also find people who move together, who become spiritual together, and they really want to see or experience moksha in this lifetime. We have examples here. One is of Mr. Rajesh Khanna. You see in Sagittarius, the first superstar, I think, of the modern times. He would not let go of his marital status. Like I said, no, because of ego. Although he had differences, because of his ego, till the last, they were not divorced. They stayed separately. They had children. They would blend as a family, but they never got divorced. This is the chart on the left side is also somebody known to me. Venus in Pisces, Venus, Sun in Pisces. They had lots of issues, lots of pressures, but although young, not very mature, but they are they are living in compatibility together and doing well. I would like to talk something about Bhrigu Shataka Yoga. All this is with reference to Venus and Sun, or Venus or Sun. This is a very peculiar Venus related yoga, When Venus plays 6th from Lagna in any chart, it gives this yoga. It's concerning the married life. This yoga causes lots of disturbances. As far as married life is concerned. No coordination, no compatibility. Even minor issues will get out of proportion. They become public. Sometimes one of them makes an effort to make it work, but then the other person is never satisfied, They never cooperate, always cribbing, unhappy, complaining. Like we see a lower level of tolerance between them. And unfortunately, if there is a Venus Dasha, oh, that exaggerates the problems between the couples. It could also lead to late marriage, older partner, separation, and divorce. For the election of Muhurta, the list of Ekavimshati dosha refers to this Bhrigu Shataka Yoga. Even Muhurta Chintamani, Muhurta Nirnaya are the books which talk about this yoga. We have Bhrigu Shataka Dosham, Bhrigashtama Dosham, Shashtashtaka Dosham, people born in Shukra Mauryam. All these doshams, to reduce the malefic effects of these above conditions, Bhrigu Pashupata Homa, Mahapashupata Homa is highly recommended. Dasha Antardasha of Venus will not give much trouble if these rituals are performed. The condition is it should be performed on the sacred river banks by knowledgeable and experienced pandits. Examples of Bhrigu Shataka Yoga, very simple examples. Some of them are my students. One or two have picked up. So this again, you see Venus in the 6th. Everything is there. I mean, upper middle class family, good families, as individuals, they are good. But somehow they are not able to, like there are even instances when the husband is so good to the wife, or the wife is so good to the husband for a certain period of time. Then again, something happens. Some misunderstanding happens between the partners, and all that just vanishes. Ego problems come up, mistrust come up, accusations come up. It's really very difficult for the couple. This is another chart, 79 born. Here again, the reason here in this chart is related to family members. Again, we see Venus in 6th here. So, as I said, we have to see other combinations also. But here the problem was, even when the couple tried to somehow compromise and tolerate each other, the family members, something would happen, something they would tell or ignite. It would trigger the situation where any attempt to solve the issue was discouraged by the family members. It's a really very sad situation for the couple, Now, let's come to Venus Ketu. I have spoken about Venus Sun till now. One Agni Tattva, one Jala Tattva. Now, Venus and Ketu. Again, one Jala Tattva, one Agni Tattva. As we know, Venus is a watery planet and Ketu is a fiery planet. Of course, they are diametrically opposite. But a strong connection with someone, past karmic attraction, good or bad, this is where Ketu plays its role. The connections could be good when some wrong person comes into your life. It is also because of Ketu-Venus connection. But the quest for superior spiritual relationship is similar when a well-placed Venus connects to Ketu. See, real attraction or love is not about appearances, isn't it? It is a combination of different levels of aspects like physical, emotional, spiritual, along with friendship and other qualities. When Venus Ketu is well connected, these people take time to develop intimacy, share their feelings and personal thoughts, get close emotionally. But once the intimacy is established, they resolved to stay connected. This is the Ketu Shanti Mantra. Venus Ketu, I have taken two examples of Jesus Christ and Prophet Muhammad. Venus Ketu, in Prophet Muhammad we see Venus and Ketu 1/7 to each other. So it makes the person spiritual, bringing about a wave of spiritual revolution that continues and is followed for many centuries to come. Some extraordinary charts like these, Jesus Christ. Here again you see the Venus Ketu connection. You know, both these people, and it's going to remain there for centuries to come. All the spiritualities, the religion which they have started. We see in the spiritual charts of Swami Vivekananda, Venus Ketu, 2nd and 6th house. It deprived him of worldly life partner, but this combination in trine, that is 1/5, made him world famous Indian spiritual yogi, a youth icon who took our teachings, culture and spirituality westwards. Similarly, Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, although Venus in 2nd house, it is in 1/9 to Ketu. It brought about a divine connection between him and his wife Sharada Ma, an unparalleled spiritual bonding of both of them. And we also know Ramakrishna Paramahamsa was the reason to spread spirituality throughout the world, isn't it? Let's go to the next slide. Let's talk a little about Navamsa and the soulmate. The soulmate is an astral identity. It doesn't have any inheriting material value. Navamsa shows the profile of one's partner with whom one has agreed to partner long before the current birth and to progress in one's spiritual development. Marriage is not a long date, it's a partnership. D9 Lagna and its law. That shows the basic attitude towards marriage. Lagna lord of D9 is the significator of the native's own behavior in marriage. If it falls in Dusthanas 6, 8, 12, negative implications are found in married life. Why? Because Mercury, lord of 6th house in the Kalapurusha, rules over jealousy in an agitated manner, with chronic animosity towards the spouse. The 8th house, ruled by Mars, secretive and conniving. There is a probability of catastrophic upheaval. And when in 12th, ruled by Jupiter, there are no conflicts, but the material marriage energy gets disconnected. It gets dissolved, which leads to spiritual concerns. If the D9 Lagna becomes strong and dominating, like Uttama or Swakshetra Graha, then the spousal concerns must take a backseat and relax. There is no meaning in arguing or debating. Again, we look at some of the Navamsa Lagna lords. Vrishava. What are the soulmates' expectations, advantages, disappointments, and success? The Vrishava Lagna person, he expects beauty, balance, gracious mirroring, who makes lovely contributions towards physical and emotional fulfillment. Similarly, in Tula, a simple, direct, balanced personality. What is the advantage? If Venus is auspiciously placed, it gives favorable results. Tula also gives positive results. Now, disadvantages: pleasure addictions if Venus occupies an inauspicious Rashi or Dusthana. Success comes when the life partner can detect the presence of unseen forces owning some mysterious power of healing, transforming, and is able to deal with disasters and emergencies. Also capable of handling confidential information. Like this is both for the business partner and the marriage partner. They prefer to romanticize and idealize their role in relationships. Beauty, balance, contributing to joint harmony. Now, if you look at Karkataka ruled by moon, there is tremendous emotional energy is invested in relationships, making their role quite symbiotic. What do they expect? They expect the partner to respect law and convention, live a regulated life, and create a cordial atmosphere for people around. The advantages: a policymaker in top ranked business or government member, and of course, the placement of Chandra will decide the behavior in marriage. Disadvantages: downslide of Chandra can be endless, needless, and craving for protection. A well placed moon will give success in relationships, and they prefer a recognized social position. This is about the Karkataka. Simha Lagna, ruled by Sun. Expectation should be the one with high social consciousness, ability to attend large gatherings, rallies, well connected social worker, fundraiser, who is scientific and conceptual in thought process. These are the expectations of a Simha Lagna person from the partner, life partner or business partner. Advantages are well placed Surya gives boost to relationships. Disadvantages: Surya in bad position can make the native narcissist, anxious, and ego membrane dysfunction. Lot of ego problems. Well played roles and recognition helps them to succeed. Now let's look what do they prefer. Preferences are they look for highly ethical, rational roles in partnerships. Typically, they land in trouble because Kumbha rules the 7 Navamsa of a Simha Lagna, means Simha Lagna Navamsa natives tend to marry Shani dominated partners. So just be careful about that. Now we go to the next. Assurance and denial of marriages. If the Lagna, second house and seventh house are strongly placed both in D1 and D9 chart, marriage is assured. It will be denied or delayed when the above 3 houses and their lords have malefic effects and afflictions. Venus well placed with dignity in the natal and Navamsa chart assures marriage. Lagna, 7th house and their lords, when afflicted in 2nd, 6th and 8th and 12th houses in the natal and Navamsa charts, then marriage is denied. Multiple marriages. Strong Lagna Lord in natal and Navamsa charts. Exalted own sign or well placed in Kendras, Trikonas or in the 11th house. Afflicted 11th house or PAC with malefics. Surprisingly, presence of Dhana Yoga gives multiple marriages. Placement of 2nd, 7th and 12th lords in Upachaya houses also gives multiple marriages. Now, if you look at this chart, the Lord of the Ascendant is in trine and exalted. Venus exalted. Navamsa Ascendant Lord with exalted Venus, Sun, Moon in own houses. Both ascendants are aspected by Jupiter. And 7th house affliction in both the charts. All this gave this female multiple marriages. She had 7 marriages. Another chart, Ascendant Lord in Kendra, exalted Venus, exalted Jupiter in trine aspects, Ascendant and Venus. Lord of a Navamsa, Ascendant in Upachaya house in D9, Here, Mars afflicts the 7th house in both the charts. So she married 8 times. Okay, watery house programming. Very interesting, you know. See, 4, 8, 12 are watery houses in the natural zodiac, right? So, what takes you forward is your belief system. That your belief system takes you forward, your belief system stops you. Water can be programmed. If you are aware, the first programming happens in the mother's womb. You know, isn't it? We get sanskaras. We know the stories of Abhimanyu, Ashavakra, Prahalada, how they got sanskaras when they were in the mother's womb. So water gets activated by mantras. We all know, no? See, anywhere when you take a sankalpa for puja, water is taken. When our rishis, munis, somebody wanted to take a vachan, our kings, water they used to take. If the rishis want to curse somebody, water was using. It is a programmer actually. And in modern times, we know about Dr. Masaru Emoto's and his water experiments. I mean, he proves how patterns of water changes with the sound vibrations. You can go on the net and check. So what we need to do here is the subconscious mind needs to be changed. As I said, who is stopping you to reach your goals? Your own self-restrictions. Let's open up a new dimension, enter a new domain. Clear your past belief systems. Planets in 4, 8, 12 houses cause restrictions. So we need to wash away these patterns. Mentally redesign the flow of your thoughts. Isn't that the significance of Abhishekam? When we offer things in the flowing water, that is could be a physical activity, but mentally it symbolizes that we are washing away our belief system, false belief systems. So water remedies is actually the cleansing of the mind on an emotional level. You need to do it sincerely with confidence, faith, and you can definitely create your own destiny. Before I end my presentation, a little more about this beautiful shloka from the Bhagavad Gita. Vrishinam Vasudevosmi Pandavanam Dhananjayah Muninam Mapyaham Vyasah Kavinam Shana Kavihi. It says, Krishna says, among the descendant of Vrishni, I am Krishna. Among the Pandavas, I am Arjuna. And you know me among the sages as Vedavyasa. And Shukracharya among the great thinkers. You know, those days, Kavi means a great person who had lots of knowledge, a great thinker, a great observer. They were called Kavi. So he says, among the Kavis, I am the Shukracharya, means Shukracharya was the Kavi among Kavis. So before the shloka, this again the same thing. The shloka of the Gita highlights the dignity of Ushama by saying that Bhagavan is Ushama among the great observers and scholars. Shukra is sight. It has the portfolio to see. It is your perception. It is your insights. See, some may see God in stone, others may see God only as stone. Venus is a brilliant planet. As a planet, it's brilliant. It is the boss of redefined choices, refined choices, you know. A person can see father, son, brother in a man. It is your perception, you know, the way you look. Even the ability to fight diseases is known by the strength of Venus. Venus-Rahu combination, usually it is overpricing yourself. And when Venus is Ketu, it is underpricing yourself. Before I end, I would like to again chant a shloka from the Bhaja Govindam. Yogarato va भोगरतो वा सङ्गरतो वा सङ्गविहीनः यस्य ब्रह्मणि रमते चित्तं नन्दति नन्दति नन्दत्येव. You may take delight in yoga or bhoga, that is, with union with God or in worldly enjoyment. You may be delighted by company or by solitude, but he whose mind delights in the Brahman, in the spiritual truth, only he enjoys real bliss and is satisfied as no one else. Thank you so much for being here. I hope you all liked the session. Namaste. Dhanyawad.
Thank you very much, madam. Thank you very much. I also take.
I have got one observation. It was very well researched paper, and I need to work on it further. But
Thank you so much, sir.
one submission. Once you say Kavinam Ushna Kavi, that only means among the Kavis, I'm Ushna. It's not Ushma, it's Ushna. Ushna is name of Shukracharya, not Ushma. So I don't know how by this spelling this problem has come. So you said ki among Kavis I'm Kavi. No. Among Kavis I'm Ushna. Ushna itself means Shukracharya. It's not Ushma, what is Ushna? Na.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Not Ma. Everywhere the word has been used Ushma. So that created confusion. Otherwise, it is well researched paper, and I'm serious. I shall have to work further on it to make some specific comment as President ICAS. Because once I say something, that means either I endorse it or I deny it. Right now, I'm not in a position to do anything. The only thing there, you have put a lot of labor. And I very keenly heard each and every part. Different issues have been taken up, and different combinations, impact, action, reaction, interaction parts so well undertaken. But I shall again add that some more research needs to be done. You please send me this paper in writing through email or WhatsApp. I'll go through it, and then I would like to take it further. And in case you are willing to work further on it, I shall be willing to take you for Bhushan.
I'm so blessed, sir. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, sir.
These were my blessings, and
Really
please continue.
blessed.
Okay.